Plattsburgh in the Early Childhood Special Education Program. So I'm going to do a little workshop on lights out. So through my program, I have been able to be certified in Project Wild, and I found this in my Project Wild workbook, and I thought this fit the theme pretty well. So let's go ahead and get started. So I just have a quick question. So I have two blank pictures, no words or anything needed. So just to ask, what do you see in this picture? So you can go ahead and just leave them in the chat. Good, I see a lot of good answers. I see some stars. Someone said the Big Dipper, black sky, stars, constellations. All right, so what about this picture? What do we see in this picture? Okay, really great answers. So I have some city, dark sky, street lights, no lights, light pollution from fourth graders. I really like that answer because that is correct. So this workshop is essentially going to focus on light pollution. So the difference between these two pictures is one is in a city. So in a city, there's a lot of lights, and this causes light pollution. So you're not able to see anything up in the night sky. Whereas if you live in the country or an urban setting, you will be able to see stars at night. So what is pollution? Dumping garbage into a lake, hurting the earth, littering, unneeded gases, something that hurts the earth, garbage. Really great answers. I love these. And then I'm going to go into what is light pollution. So light pollution is completely different than pollution. Someone said where light takes over. You can't see the stars. There's too much light, so much light that you can't see the stars. So these are some really good answers. People use too much unnatural light that can affect animals. That's a really good answer. Light pollution is, or lake pollution is the electricity, too many lights to see the night sky. All right, these are really good answers. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into our 4 different types of light pollution. So we have sky glow, light trespass, glare, and clutter. So the sky glow is the illumination of the night sky, which is often associated with the artificial lights of the cities or other urban areas. Light trespass is when it occurs when light spills into areas where it is not needed, wanted, or intended, so such as into a neighbor's window. Glare is the presence of excessive bright light that causes discomfort and interferes with the depth perception. An example of this would be bright LED billboards on highways. Clutter would be the excessive grouping of artificial lights frequently occurring in urban areas. An example of this would be large parking lot areas or areas around a sports stadium. So I have another 2 more questions, and then you can go ahead and just put them into the chat. So how many of you have experienced one of these 4 types of light pollution? Someone said glare, sky glow, light trespass, clutter. So we have a wide range of answers, and that's good. We have all four that are being hit. Someone also said many of us neighboring shining lights, the street lights. One group has had experiences with all of these, so that's good. So based on your experiences, would you consider light pollution to be a problem society should address, and then why or why not? So someone said no because we need light to see at night. Someone said yes because it confuses animals. Yes because you can't see the stars. No because we need light to see the roads at night. Yes, it is important because we miss out on the night sky. Yes, because LED lights overpower the vision. It blinds the nocturnal animals. Someone said that they were amazed to see the night sky when they moved from Long Island to Plattsburgh. That's a big difference. All right, really great answers. I'm going to go ahead and move on. So here's just a little background knowledge and stuff about light pollution. So light pollution essentially has artificial lighting that enables people to see more in their immediate surroundings during the hours of darkness. Light pollution is the excessive or misdirected or obtrusive artificial light. The International Dark Sky Association, or the IDA, estimated that in the United States, at least 30% of all outdoor light is wasted, with a resulting cost of $3.3 billion and the release of 20 million tons of carbon dioxide per year. Carbon dioxide is the leading contributor to global warming. Indirect impacts of greenhouse gas emissions. Light pollution impacts wildlife directly by influencing innate behaviors. Excessive light can disrupt circadian rhythms, natural 24-hour psychological cycles of plants and animals, and the natural patterns of light and dark sky guide many aspects of animal behavior, including foraging, reproduction, growth, development, communication, and movement. So go ahead and answer in the chat again for this. So how does light pollution affect our wildlife? Blinds nocturnal animals. It can confuse the animals. Another blinding animals, it's harder to see them, blinds them, distracts them, confuses them. It can alarm them. It can damage their eyes. Too much light can hurt animals' eyes. It can mislead animals. It can blind their eyes and make them confused. And it can disrupt their migration patterns. These are all really good answers. So here are some of the effects that light pollution does on our wildlife. So for nocturnal mammals, it decreases their reproduction. They have difficulty in foraging for food. They have increased visibility to predators, and they have an impairment of their night vision due to light pollution. For our nocturnal or migrating birds and bats, they often collide with lighted towers, high-rise buildings, turbines, and other structures. They are continuously flying near the source of light until exhaustion and or death, steering off course and not reaching their intended destination. For our amphibians, they have a deceased reproduction, reduced foraging for food, confusions and disorientation, increasing susceptibility to predators and other threats. Our nocturnal reptiles have disorientation, decreased appetite and feeding behavior, reduced mating, increased susceptibility to predation and other threats. And then our moths and other insects are attracted to light sources, which waste energy, circling light throughout the night. It interferes with their mating and their migratory behaviors. And then they also have increased susceptibility to predation. So a lot of these wildlife have a lot of similar effects of what light pollution does to them. A lot of them have decreased reproduction. They often have a hard time finding food. It increases their visibility to their predators, um, disorientation, a bunch of other things. So this is just a little picture here to kind of explain a little as well what I have been talking about. So it shows the stars up at the night with the light sky, and then it shows the city lights kind of going in and showing what they do. And it even has an animal here to show kind of what it might do to the animal. So astronomical light pollution reduces the number of visible stars. Unshielded light causes both astronomical and ecological light pollution. Tall lighted structures are collision hazards. Shielded lights reduce astronomical light pollution, but may still cause ecological light pollution. And then sky glow from cities can disrupt distant ecosystems. So just a little more on our light pollution and wildlife. So too much light can confuse their migratory patterns, alter their competitive interactions, and change predator to prey relationships. In North America, according to the Fatal Light Awareness Program, collisions with buildings are estimated to kill 1 million to 1 billion migrating birds annually. And light pollution can even affect plants. So I have an activity for all of you to do. If you are able to, you just need some scrap paper, markers, pencils, anything. And we are going to essentially create a poster. So these are the types of light fixtures that can affect our animals and our plants and just everything in general that has to do with light pollution. So ones that are hooded do help with not emitting the lights up into the night sky, but they still do cause an issue as well. So this is just an idea of all the different light fixtures and all of that. So let's start by making a change. So step one is to grab some paper or use a blank document on your computer, whichever you prefer. And then step two is to create a slogan. So something that's going to be catchy and catch people's eye and something that they're going to remember. It can be sweet and simple or it can be long, it doesn't matter. And then step three is to find some pictures or create some pictures. So if you're doing it in person, you're more than welcome to go ahead and draw up some pictures. And then step four, you would share your poster. So I know we won't be able to really share our poster here, but you are more than welcome to share this poster within your school and your community to get the word out there about light pollution and essentially what it does and how harmful it is. And then these are just some poster examples that I found from the internet. So one poster is turn off the light, turn on the stars. And then this one also talks about Earth Day. So this Earth Day, let's minimize light pollution for just a couple hours. Help us see the stars. Light off, starlight on. And then we are losing the dark of night at the speed of light. And then it just says that again, that we're losing the dark. So it just shows you from Earth all the different light that is coming from all the different cities and all that, and how they are creating light pollution. So that's all I have. So if you want, you can go ahead and do those posters. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to start asking them. All right, so we have our first question. So we have, why are people so careless with the energy they use? That is a really good question. I think it honestly, it's because people are not properly educated on the effects of what our actions do to our earth. Um, it's just we have Earth Day, and Earth Day is an amazing thing, but not enough people get out there and help the earth and preserve the earth. Um, some people just don't even think it's just they're not healthy habits that people have kind of adapted. So if you leave your room, be sure to turn your lights off. That conserves a lot of energy in the house. Trying to conserve water when you're taking a shower. So when you're not showering or when you're washing your hair, turn the water off and then wash your hair and then turn the water back on so you're not wasting all that water. It's just it's people are not adapting those habits, those healthy habits. They have a lot of bad habits that they have adapted throughout their lives. So I guess that's essentially why people are so careless with the energy they use. And it's just we need to get out there and we really need to advocate for the earth and tell people and show people the effects it has and what it does to us as human beings as well as our wildlife. Um, one class is asking if animals can completely lose their sight. If so, which ones? This is a really good question. In my paperwork and everything that I used to kind of develop this workshop, I didn't see anything about animals completely losing their sight, but I'm assuming that it is possible. Um, just like when we look up at the sun, and if we look at the sun directly for way too long, it does impair our vision and it can affect our vision in a negative way. So I think the lights, because they are a different source of light, can do the same thing and affect animals. I'm not sure which animals, but I'm sure it can affect our animals. Um, I would say more so birds. I feel like that's where a lot of the light kind of comes from is up in the sky. So any birds or bats, anything that's flying, the light can really impair that and cause them, like I said earlier, to not really know where they're going and cause a lot of disorientation. So, like, if you look up at the sun, it does cause a little disorientation in yourself. So, highly encouraged not to look up at the sun directly. If you are looking at the sun, make sure you are using the proper materials. When you are looking up at the sun, I know with our last lunar or solar eclipse, there were special goggles or just DIY materials that you could make at home so you could view the solar eclipse the right way. Are there any other questions? Those both were some really great questions. This is from a student directly. So, do you know about how much light pollution is produced each day? That is that's a very good question. And honestly, I don't know, but there probably is a lot if you think about it. Um, we're all each at different parts in the world. So currently, right now, we have daylight, whereas someone across the world has their it's nighttime over there for them. So there's a lot of cities all over the world, and the cities are emitting a lot of light pollution. And some people are just they're not really realizing the effects the light has on this. So I would say that there's millions of light pollution that is being produced each day. Um, but really great question. I can look that up for you as well, really quick too. Does light pollution affect fish in the water? I would say yes, it does affect fish in the water. I wouldn't say know exactly how it affects the fish in the water, but it does. If you see, like when you're out on the water, the sun does reflect off the water. But also, if you're underwater, you can kind of see the light as well. I don't think it affects fish nearly as much as it does affect our animals that are on land. Does light pollution negatively affect humans at all? I don't think light pollution necessarily affects us as humans at all, really, other than the gases that are coming from the light pollution and what they're doing to our atmosphere. That's the only thing I really think that they negatively affect us as humans. Does light pollution affect animals that have echolocation? That is a really good question. We have as well, what can we do to make people more aware of the effects of light pollution? So we could start off just advocating and going and just educating people about the effects light pollution does. So, creating these posters and displaying them throughout your community or in your school can be the first start of making people aware of what light pollution does. Statistics is a really good thing as well. Getting the statistics of how much light pollution is emitted each day, the effects it has on animals, how many animals are actually dying because of light pollution. So, making people aware of the effects of light pollution starts with you and you advocating about what light pollution does. How can we stop pollution? So, like I said before, with the light pollution one, just in general, we can stop pollution. Just like you can be the first one to make that change. So, what you do can go on and um, it can like it's a domino effect kind of. So, if you start picking up trash, your friend will start picking up trash, and then it'll go on from there. So just it starts with you being the one to start advocating and start making a change. So you can be the one to make a change in your everyday life. And that little change, it could be as simple as turning off the lights when you're not in the room. It could be as simple as that. And know that that does help our world in many ways. Um, So, how can lights not affect animals or plants? So, I think this is a really good question. So, plants and animals need some source of light to help them grow and all that. More so with plants, they need to photosynthesize, and they do this with the sun. So, the sunlight is a very positive aspect. Um, Lights like the one I have right here, or street lights or billboard lights, those are the lights that are going to negatively affect them because they are emitting gases, whereas the sun is something that's natural and that we do need to survive. All right, so that was the last question, and I'm going to turn it over to Olivia. But thank you, everybody. Your questions were amazing. Some of them were a little harder for me to answer, but they were great questions. Continue to ask those questions, and you will all do amazing things if you start advocating now.
All right, everyone. Hi, thank you so much for watching Alex's amazing presentation. I'm putting a link in the chat for everyone. That is where you can access the downlink. It's anticipated to begin at 10:30. We want you to use this link because NASA has decided to broadcast it on NASA TV, and that way you'll be able to look at it crystal clear, like visually and everything. Please click on the link in the chat, or you can access it in the conference brochure when you click on the downlink link. But yes, I hope you enjoy it. Please take this break as an opportunity to have a snack break, go to the bathroom, do anything you need to do before the downlink. And our second workshops will begin at noon. So I'm really looking forward to all of you being in future workshops. Thank you so much. Once you have the link, I am going to close off the webinar so you guys can just log off. I just want to make sure everyone has access to the link before I close the Zoom. All right, everyone, I'm going to close the Zoom now. I still see that there's 4 attendees on. I will close it. The link is here. The link is also, again, in the brochure under NASA Downlink. So please click on that to access the downlink at 10:30 a.m. I will see you all hopefully again for workshop 2 at noon. And thank you to Alex for an amazing presentation.